Welcome to the Business Boys Talkin' Business Virtual Power Lunch. Please welcome your hosts, Tyler Price and Brian Magleby.
Hey, now that's a photo.
Beautiful backdrop.
Yeah, Shoshone Falls, I'm assuming, isn't that it? Or
Anybody know where that is? Aaron, help us out here. Where is the picture?
Which one?
The picture in the background.
Oh, Shoshone.
Yeah.
It is Shoshone.
Yeah.
Okay, look, those buildings down there. I can't remember those
Yeah.
buildings being there. So,
got a power plant or something down
so I'm Brian Magleby with the Idaho Innovation Center,
there. And I'm Tyler Price with the Small Business Development Center.
and we're glad to be here talking business. It's a bad hair day, right?
It is, yeah.
My wife said, "You're having a bad hair day," and he walks in here and says, "I'm having a bad hair day," and so
Yeah.
it's a bad hair day Tuesday.
Yeah, there we go. We'll see how FAVAD is doing.
Yeah, well, I can guarantee his hair is much better looking than ours.
Yeah.
But we have a little more than he.
Well, last week, hey, we had Chip Langerek. I
Yep.
wanted to call him Langerberry just as
Yes,
a joke, and
just-
I almost said it there.
And,
but then
we
I
did a
say
couple times last time.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, but Chip's a good, really great guy.
Wow, great insight into
Yep.
some of the business valuations.
If you're looking to want to sell your business, he's a great person. There's a lot of people in the area that specialize in this, but Chip, I mean, he
He's
really
the top
gets
dog.
into it. And if you want a solid valuation or what your exit strategy should look like, he's definitely someone that you should visit with.
No charge to meet with you and kind of go through that, and if you're looking at doing something like that in the future. So great segment. If you haven't watched it yet, get on there and watch it. It's on our website. So.
And we do have a marketing class coming up, as I recall.
We do. Do
Yeah.
we have that graphic? Well, it's we got digital marketing course. If your business and if there's a business out there that doesn't
Yeah.
market online, this is the class. If you want to learn how to do it better than your competition, be in more places, be more effective, this is the class. It starts 2 weeks from tomorrow. It's on Wednesdays. So it starts on October 6th. It runs every Wednesday in the month of October.
Yep.
And a class goes from 1:30 to 3 in the afternoon. We do have a lot of people that have requested to do this off Zoom, so we will be doing it. If you're out of the area, can't make it here, we will be doing the class by Zoom. We don't recommend you. We recommend you being here to be a little more effective. But Ryan Yost, this is, I think, the second or third time that he's taught the class and does an absolutely phenomenal. Last time he did it here at the Andex Studios.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
but this we're really trying to encourage people to come out and do it. If the numbers wouldn't keep rising, but we will be doing it via Zoom as well.
Yeah. And Ryan Jost, one of our sponsors with Volpine, really does a great job with helping businesses in their marketing.
Yes.
And I've put employees through his course before, and it was very valuable.
Yes.
So.
And in fact, he's going to be our guest the day before the show, so we'll be having him on our show on October 5th. So
Yeah.
we will he'll be talking all about the things that he's going to be talking about in the class. So he'll be our guest coming up here. We do have some changes coming up here in October. We will tease it now,
Yeah.
but we will be having a few minor changes to the show, Talkin' Business.
Yeah.
So we'll be announcing that a little more next week, and then, of course, into October. But some exciting new changes coming about for Talkin' Business. So, and he'll be our first guest on that time.
On
so
that new format.
It is.
And then we also, so Volpine's one of our sponsors, and BBSI is a
BBSI,
great
can't
sponsor of
thank
ours.
enough to Jeremy and Mike and the crew, Jared over at BBSI. What a phenomenal business they're doing. They're just leaders in the industry in HR here in Eastern Idaho and throughout the state. They have locations throughout the state as well, throughout the country.
Throughout
but,
the globe,
yes,
really. But
so.
anyway. And then the Innovation Center, I mean, you do a great job there at helping startups get
Thank
going.
you. I'll buy you
and-
lunch
yeah,
for that little
all right,
plug there.
great.
Thank you.
But anybody looking to start a business or needing space, talk to Brian Magleby about the Idaho Innovation Center. We also have the SBDC that is there to help small businesses, and of course, Andex, right?
Andex here,
Yeah.
where we're producing the show. What a great studio they have. What a great setup. They keep us in line. They start us on time. They have a great big green screen behind us. Absolutely, we appreciate them, and of course, Volpine Marketing. So thank you
Yes.
for our sponsors of Talkin' Business. So let's roll into today's show. We've got FAVAD MALIK. I think that's how you say it. Is that right? FAVAD
Yeah.
MALIK He owns multiple businesses here in Eastern Idaho. He's got Massage Envy. He owns the franchise of Massage Envy. He also, last year, about 5 months before COVID started, I think back in late 2019, he started Yoga London and Flip and Twist. And we're going to learn all about those 3 different businesses that FAVAD has started here in Eastern Idaho, and talk to him about his entrepreneurship in this country.
Yeah, great.
Got an interesting, he's from England, so we are excited to have FAVAD on the show today. Let's watch a quick, just a couple 30-second videos on his businesses.
You've been very busy at home lately. You've repainted, restocked, removed, restarted, rediscovered, reinvented, reused, redesigned, rearranged. It's time you got reacquainted with your massage routine. The Massage Envy commitment means your safety is a top priority, along with massages that will leave you totally recharged, putting you in an even better mood to reorganize. Massage Envy. Keep your body working.
Are you wondering what to do with kids who are home more than usual this fall? We've got the answers at Flip and Twist. We've added extra options for daytime classes along with online options that are perfect for students of all ages every day of the week. This fall, we're offering new classes and workshops for handsprings, aerials, power tumbling, and kids yoga. If your little ninjas aren't in school yet, we'll get them ready to read and write and turn them into ninja problem solvers along the way. Flip and Twist. We're right next door to Yoga London and around the corner from Massage Envy.
Well, great. FAVAD, welcome. And
thanks so much.
Not having a bad hair day, and you wear
a much better hair day than us. So we have work to do in the morning. Well, you do too, probably.
It's bad hair month, isn't it? Having had chip hair last week, and I think I'm just wondering who the guest
and Ryan's
is
next week.
Ryan's also. It is the follically challenged month of having guests on and talking business.
But you're a mighty fine-looking man, so there you go.
That's right.
And people love the accent, so
I'll
hit that one straight away. I'll hit that one straight away.
So you're just living in the UK. My family originally from Wales, although I've never been.
Congratulations.
Have you been to Wales or
once?
Once, and that was enough apparently. But you decided to come. What did that look like? Because you came based off the fact that you were creating jobs in the United States.
Yes. Yeah. So we're here on what's called an investor visa. So that is effectively you invest a certain amount of money. I won't say how much, and you recruit a certain number of local residents. And that gives you the opportunity to live here, to work here, and then after 5 years, and weirdly enough, this is our 5th anniversary. We're at the 5-year point now. So after 5 years, you then extend, which actually entails going back to London and doing it from the US consulate in London. And of course, we couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So we had to go over to Mexico, have a holiday for 7 days. It was horrible.
Yeah, it was horrible. Yeah.
And then get a 2-year extension, come back and sort of start again. But it does mean that we've got 2 years where we'll need to go back to London and sort of redo the whole process.
Yeah. But coming to another country is challenges in and of itself, because you're in the UK, things are established. You come here, like getting a line of credit or bank loans or things like that is kind of not an option almost.
Even today?
Yeah.
Even today?
Even 5 years later.
It really is. I mean, there's a story which I often tell, which is all about buying the business, the Massage Envy business 5 years ago, and we had to do that through our own means. There was no sort of UK backer or US backer. And then buying this business and then having to find a place to live, which happens to be down in Utah and not Idaho, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. And then doing all this, setting ourselves up, and then actually going to do some shopping at Gap, the Gap store, and thinking we'll just get a Gap credit card and being declined this credit card for $50. You know, it was just like, we bought these businesses, we've bought a property, and we can't get any line of credit. And that really still haunts us to today. So there have been, yes, there's been opportunity. We've now got lines, but probably nowhere, what we would need. If you look back 5 years, it's been really personal stuff, and that's been challenging. That really has been challenging.
It has.
But I will say, and I know Brian's got questions too, but sometimes people look at the United States and people within the United States like, oh, this is difficult, this is hard, or even negative things about business in the United States. You moved from another country. What was the driving force to leave the UK to come and start businesses and chase, in theory, the American dream.
Yeah.
Or not in theory, in practice.
One word would sum that up: Alice, my wife.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you sort of do as your wife says.
Yes,
sort of thing.
that makes
So
life
we had
better.
we had a young family. In fact, we had one, Nala, my eldest daughter. She's 8 now, and I was in financial services. Wife was a licensed massage therapist, sports injury therapist, so doing great in London, her own business. And we just decided that was the time to do it. There was a few dynamics, personal dynamics in the background that were truly important. And we were looking at different opportunities in North America, so the US was an opportunity. I'll let you guess what the other opportunity was in North America. And we spent some time, due diligence. We came over for a holiday. We looked at a business. We wanted something that we could influence, something my wife knew about, something that I could probably grapple with, knowing that I was going to do the day-to-day grind. And made the decision to come over. But challenging, yes, the same language, but now I look back and think, God, we came blindly without checking credit and how that would work.
Yeah.
And it really was, literally, we landed Salt Lake City. We had a property that we were going to rent out for 6 weeks in Driggs. So we went from London to Driggs pretty much overnight.
Wow,
so 13, 15 million people to what felt like 15 million,
15
people.
people.
And turning up at this place and this guy saying, and it was late on a Saturday night, and we're used to 24/7 living and whatever, turning up and the guy saying, have you got some food? And no. Why is he asking this? Well, there's nothing open tomorrow.
Yeah.
Brolim's is closed on a Sunday and this, and it was like the harsh reality of what we've done suddenly hitting us. And it became easier, but the property that we had rented out wasn't great, so it was like, we've gone from a really nice apartment in London. We've made this decision. Who made the decision
Dream.
to? Yeah, exactly. American dream, and me looking at my wife, and this wasn't just. It was myself, my wife. We had 2 cats at the time. And shortly afterwards, my wife became pregnant and had a son that's born here. So weirdly enough, we have an American citizen in our family now. Son.
Why did you land in this part of the United States? What brought you to Utah, Idaho?
That really was all to do with the type of business that we were looking for. So we wanted to find a business that we felt, using our skills, we could help develop, enhance, and recruit local people. Obviously, that was part of the deal, but somewhere where we could really build a better business and effectively at some point, hate to say it, but exit. Whatever that may look like. I know Chip was here last week, and weirdly enough, Chip was the first person that we spoke to. And I'm not even talking about face to face. I'm talking over the phone. So Chip was representing the business here, and we spoke to him, and we were probably one of his first clients.
Yeah, I think he said you were his first
client.
client. So
Yeah, it's not what he told us at the time. But
I've been doing this a long time, right?
But I think the story is that I was trying to get hold of Chip, and he couldn't take the call, and afterwards realised that he couldn't take calls internationally. So he had to, because it was just the way it was. It's just the way it was. He was up in this mountain trying to take this call, think it was reception. So it was, so that was it was a good introduction. So Chip was a very helpful person at the time. He was someone that really helped us truly, and made us that recommendation or that introduction, and really things have just sort of zoomed since then. It's been great. And
you live in Utah, but you travel up here every week?
No, so every 2 weeks. So effectively spend about 8 to 9 days a month here. Used to have an apartment here, so that made it easier, but quite like the hotel life, so I'm back to sort of hotels. But it's unusual for me to be up longer than that, so I was actually up on Saturday for an open house at Flip and Twist, the gym. I'll spend today till Wednesday. I've got a meeting in Salt Lake City, so it's sort of all over the place, really. But the businesses are concentrated here. We decided to live down in Utah in Park City, and that's quite nice in terms of the separation that we have. I'm the one that's sort of intensely involved in the businesses. Alice is obviously looking after the kids full time, but it's nice to have that sort of outside person sort of looking in and saying, well, maybe talk to a therapist like this. Maybe let's try this. Something slightly different. So
very good. So you invested in Massage Envy, bought the franchise here in the area. And kind of talk about why you got into the Massage Envy, and then also after you'd done that for a few years, then you brought on a couple new businesses. So kind of talk about your buying of the franchise, what you did there, and then how you transitioned into the other business.
Yeah, that initial, sort of linking back to why Idaho, we were looking for a business, quite a large business that we could invest into that would give us opportunity for growth. Something that my wife knew about, so massage, therapy, sports injury, that sort of field. And at the same time, we were looking for something we could enhance. So something that wasn't perfect. We weren't looking for the 5-star Google review, which sort of, as you say, doesn't exist. It's not out there. We were looking for something that, I say this now, something that maybe didn't look too good. Maybe that's my pride saying that, because I really didn't know what I was doing at the time, buying this business. So it was the business that led us to Idaho. We were looking at other places, but this is the one that we kept on coming back to and thought, well, it's large. It's something that we can actually make better. And so that was effectively October 2016. And a couple of years into that, after remodeling the facility, I was probably looking at, like any business owner, looking at the next opportunity and the one after that. And it was just natural to just entertain the wellness business. It was just natural to start thinking about other things. Massage and skincare is about people looking after themselves. And we thought, when I was listening to therapists, when they were giving people massage and they were coming out and making a recommendation, they were telling people to stretch, they were telling people to sort of do self-care at home. And it just kept on coming back to me that we could do something around the corner, literally very close to where we are, and actually just build on that whole wellness theme, self-care theme. And, let's face it, Idaho Falls is playing catch up with the rest of Idaho and the rest of the country. And all of these things, hot yoga didn't exist or doesn't exist in this part of the state. Whereas if you go to where we lived in London, we had 2 competing hot yoga studios literally outside of our apartment, literally 2 on the same street. And the idea was, let's just sort of get ahead of the game. Let's invest in something where we think sort of 3, 4, 5 years down the line is going to be the place to come and, practice yoga.
Yeah. And then why did you add the flip and twist? That's a
I don't know which one. I don't know which one came first. The yoga is definitely the more sort of investing longer term, and flip and twist is just taking advantage of the the average number of kids per family here, which you guys will tell me is more than the 2.2 that we have in London.
It is.
Yep. So
and especially in Utah and Idaho.
Yes, yeah. So I remember sitting on a plane next to someone once, and someone showing me a photograph of what I thought she was a school teacher, and this was her class of kids. This was her family. It was 9. It was 9 kids, and I looked at her, and she couldn't have been any more than 30 or something. So I thought, I just knew all along, talking to our clients at Massage Envy, that there was definitely an opportunity to build. It was like, well, you sort of get to know clients, you get to know their family, and you think, kids, grandkids, it's just an expanding place. So let's do something centrally. So there's a theme here, doing it at the right location, I truly believe. And yes, you do pay extra dollars, no doubt about it, for the location, but doing it in a high profile place where, you're coming out of Chick-fil-A and you sort of look over and you've got Flip and Twist and Yoga London. So you've got your wellness and your sort of maybe not so healthy, although Chick-fil-A will dispute that. It was just a good location. And Flip and Twist, it probably was the first idea. And then when we looked at the space, we thought, let's sort of hedge our bets. Let's sort of just spread this, diversify.
Add another product.
Yeah.
So they're separate businesses. You walk in one entrance, but then you go 2 different directions.
Absolutely, yeah. So you go in and if you're coming for yoga, you can't help but see the kids in there at Flip and Twist. And if you, and on hindsight, would I have had 2 separate entrances? I mean, I think that's the thing. You do your first location, you look at it, you learn, and you say, actually, second time round, I'd probably separate them out. But we try and run them as 2 affiliate businesses. So effectively, we want to make sure that we give you a tour of the yoga studio if you're coming for Flip and Twist, and vice versa. And actually, at the moment, there's a promotion where the first month, you buy into one as a member, you'll get the first month free at the other business.
What a great idea! If you haven't been to the Flip and Twist, kind of talk about. I've watched some of the things that you do there. Talk about this ninja.
Yeah, I wish I could do it.
Yeah,
it's really taking advantage of. I mean, everyone's seen the show American Ninja Warrior. It's really trying to. I suppose the way I describe it, you're trying to run through obstacles in the most efficient way, in a safe environment. So all our classes, we have open gyms scattered around the week, but we have classes. They're enrolled classes with a coach and a specific curriculum that runs 10 weeks. So we know what we're delivering. The kids know what they're going to get. We test them at the end, so we had a sort of a passport system at the end where we sort of grade them and we say, well, if they want to be graded, that is, where we can move them to the next level. But it's akin to the obstacles maybe that kids will have in their life, you know, where they need to overcome them, and it's how can we get them back on the warp wall or that particular obstacle and get them over in a very efficient way. And we do it in a fun environment.
Yes.
You know, and we have coaches who range from sort of high school kids to, you know, an older coach who's actually been on the show before that you're aware of. So, you know, we have, you know, we have that whole sort of range of coaches that deliver excellent skills. And the key is that we want kids to have a great time, motivate them, and we want parents to sort of either watch them and see what's happening and see the progress. But actually what I really love is for the parents to actually go over to the yoga studio and do a class at the same time.
Yeah, there you go.
But making that transition isn't as easy as you think.
It is, and I have to say, in the American Ninja, if you watched it this season, they had many of their participants were younger teenagers, and so to have a place that we can groom people, I can tell you that I know of some insights here that there's going to be a lot of some additional ninja competitions happening in coming years here in Eastern Idaho. So this is a great place to people that kids can come in and learn how to do that and possibly be on the show.
So,
absolutely.
And then Massage Envy is a franchise. Flip and Twist and London
Correct.
Yoga are not.
Correct.
So why did you move away from the franchise model? Because it's just so much easier to have someone tell you how to do everything and pay them royalties,
and you learn,
right?
Yeah, and you learn a hell of a lot from the franchise system. So there's one thing that I've come across with Massage Envy where I said, you know, in fact, I come up with what I think are great ideas, and Stephen, my lead therapist, who's been at Massage Envy for 12 years now.
Absolutely phenomenal.
He says, that's how we should be doing it. That's what the franchise sort of structure says. And I said, well, let's get back to doing it then, because this is a successful. So we've really just taken what we've learned from Massage Envy, you know, in terms of the process, everything from, you know, when you entertain a first client and when you get back to them and the feedback that you get, and actually then just implementing that within Yoga London and Flip and Twist. They're very separate businesses, but they're all wellness. They're all linked in that sense.
So do you see yourself wanting to do franchises yourself on Flip and Twist and
there's opportunity. We've learned a lot from this. If we were to go back 2 years, we would definitely think there's an opportunity to sort of tweak a few things.
Right.
So I think that really depends upon, like anything, the network of people that you meet and how you want to expand and where you want to live. You know, that I-15 corridor excites us, you know, sort of all the way down to Vegas. I like it warmer. Wife likes it colder, so I don't know where we're going to go.
It might end up somewhere in between.
Yeah,
You're definitely on the cold side of things right now.
Tell me about it. Yeah, tell me about it. I'm feeling it here. Not right now, but last night I did.
Yeah, well, that's cool. So then it's, what do you see? Because you came in and your visa then was tied to capital investment into businesses and number of employees. And so what is the number of employees that you're up to currently?
So we have those three businesses. We employ about 43 to 46 people.
Yeah. So that's a big
Depends
deal.
on what we decide this afternoon.
Right.
It changes day to day.
Exactly. Yeah. So mid 40s, and actually the requirements are, you know, you only have to have one US citizen that you employ. That's how sort of bare the system is. But you have to invest a certain amount of money. And, you know, you have to do it where you can demonstrate when they review it that you're actually here for the right reasons, that you're running a viable business. And you have to demonstrate your future plans and, you know, make sure everything is, all the tax stuff and whatever is taken care of.
Because they want you to create jobs and pay your taxes,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
And then at the end you gain citizenship, or what happens?
So typically something we need to look into that will help. But it doesn't automatically qualify you. So we would be here at the end of this 2-year period coming up. We'll be 7 years here, and that's a decent time. You know, enough for our son to be born here and have the American accent, which sounds weird and everything. So we will just have to make those decisions on an ongoing basis, and it doesn't help with things like credit because they want to know they're not, you know, in partnering with someone that's a flight risk that can get on a plane and disappear and not come back. But after 5 years, they start to think, oh, this relationship, it's good, and you know, we've had a lot of assistance. We bank with the Bank of Commerce, and you know, we've got a good relationship.
Well, and there's 46 people that are gainfully employed because
46 people and hopefully growing. Yeah, absolutely.
That's fantastic. So.
Very good. One of your, and we have him fill out a questionnaire, and on there, and I just wanted to summarize this because I thought that it was really good. And what he said was kind of his elevator pitch. He said, helping to enhance the wellness in the community. And with those 3 businesses, each and every one of them, you're doing that.
Yeah, yeah. And just starting with Massage Envy, so you could say, well, you know, it's actually been there for 12 years. So even before we came along, it'd been there for 7 years. Skincare, massage, it's still seen as a luxury here. You know, even massage, you know, skincare even more so.
Yeah,
you know this, even more so. And then when you take it to the next level, and you think, well, what about guys and skincare? You know, forget about ladies and entertaining skincare. Let's aim for higher.
Yeah.
So that's always been, every year I've always set that as an objective. How can we get guys into just have some routine skincare or have something a bit more advanced and just get people just bought into that whole idea of looking after themselves.
Yeah.
And then, of course, with yoga and flip and twist, you know, flip and twist, it's like parents here want to spend money on their kids. You know, they'd rather forego that skincare. Yeah. Let's get our kids in, let's get them healthy. So that's just an easy sort of no-brainer. And the yoga is something, like I said, it's more of a longer-term thing. It's still, you know, we haven't had what I would call a quality number of studios locally. We've not had that. Yeah. Hot yoga is still seen as something that's, you know, a punishment as opposed to something that can enhance your wellness. Yeah. And we want to just change people's minds. So we do things like have your free trial, get your 10-day free trial. You know, go to the yoga studio, just, you know, there's a whole myriad of instructors that we have there. We try and teach things in the same way, but we try and teach it without any sort of, you know, I remember going to a yoga class in London and going with someone and being the only guy in the class who's done that, being the only guy in the class. And then I thought, I sort of got away with this. I'm sort of there mingling in. And then I must have been making this face, and the instructor sort of said, that's fantastic. Now do it without the face. And it was like, I had 30 people looking at me, which was like, now they know them, the only guy.
Exactly what would happen if I
exactly.
did that.
So one of my things here, guys, is that we will do each invite another guy, another friend, and we will do a hot yoga class. And we'll do a hot yoga class.
He has extended this invitation to me before, which that sounds great.
And that sounds
I hope you forget about it, because, as you said, the painful side of things is what comes to mind.
But I think there's this mental, I mean, we're all talking about mental wellness at the moment, aren't we? And I've definitely been in there where, and it's just, I'm blessed, I have some great staff, so that 46 staff that I refer to. You know, I can pick out a few on the yoga side where you're just there and you just know that no one's judging you and they shouldn't judge you, and you're actually there and you perhaps haven't moved, but mentally you're just taking that break that you need. And that is probably, you're gaining as much through that process than you are through doing that stretching.
Totally agree.
And you gotta gain that from your practice, and that's the thing. You've got to come out of it thinking, I got something from it.
All right, well, you heard it here that he's invited us. So
we'll do a live Facebook just to.
But you have to be there. I know that you do it, but you have to be there. And the skincare, because FAVAD's actually 78 years old, and because of his skincare regimen he's in, he looks like 38. So just saying, man, that you should look into that.
Well, 79 next.
79 there we go.
I do try and get some. So it's challenging with staffing and all of those things, and we're a popular clinic, no doubt, to get appointments sometimes. But we have estheticians and just because of that dynamic, massage versus skincare. But it is as relaxing getting skincare than it is massage in terms of having a, you know.
My wife can attest to that. So, so talk to us about how COVID has affected your business. I mean, you're kind of in a hands-on kind of business there, at least with the massage, and maybe not so much with the yoga, but kind of talk about how's the COVID? You opened up these businesses right before. I got out of my business right before COVID. You got into business. So.
Well, Massage Envy we pretty much followed the whole sort of franchise story. We just had to nationally go with whatever was happening around the country. So we shut down, and I think the staff, you know, thanked us for that on hindsight, because it was just this big unknown. Let's remember where we were 15, 18 months ago. So we shut down pretty much for 3 months, and we had competitors that remained open. That was challenging, and I thought at one stage maybe we should just open up and not tell corporate. But that wasn't the thing to do. So we made a decision, we went with that. The other two businesses, we just had to pivot really, you know, we had to do things that were like fairly obvious now, like yoga London, we went to Zoom classes pretty much the day after. You know, we had already thought about doing some virtual stuff. So we gave all of our clients with all the businesses an option just to shut off their auto pays.
Yeah.
You know, we pretty much, when we didn't hear back from a client, we just shut them off anyway. We didn't want a situation where clients would come back and say, hey, you're closed and I can't get in.
Big guy
because
road.
there's your Google review, as it were. So we did that. So yoga was pretty easy. And flip and twist, what we did, we shut down, and we then did two things. We actually did some virtual classes as well. We did some Facebook stuff. We sent out, you know, sort of literally like 2-minute segments, videos where we could say you can practice this at home in a safe environment. So we got our coaches just doing some stuff from home, which was good because people connect with their coach and they're at home and everything. And then we, when we slowly started opening up, we opened up family classes, which actually has remained with us to today. So we've got some larger families who literally just came in and they used the gym, and we had coaches at you know, social distancing, and we sort of just developed as a result of that. But it was all phased reopening. So it wasn't like, bang, you're back in. It was like, you're back in and there's all these sort of parameters and things that you have to put in place, safety protocols, and you know, you're catering for that client that's going to maybe turn around and say, this isn't safe. You know, we just don't want to come back.
You put in there to be prepared for the unexpected, and I think that's exactly what you had to do, and that what what we continue to do with the influx and stuff like that. So very good, FAVAD. It's great to have had you here. Is there anything else that we may have missed on Massage Envy, Flip and Twist?
No, I think what we're trying to do is just create that area of Ammon. We're just trying to create a sort of a wellness hub, so people can come and they can. In an ideal world, they can leave their kids in a safe space, learn some new agility skills, go and do a yoga class, or go and get some skincare, let's say. You know, it is for families. That's what we're trying to do. And we're just trying to ensure that clients that come to one business are aware of the other businesses. That's the key thing.
Well, if you don't know where they're at, all we have to do is say Chick-fil-A and look out the back door of Chick-fil-A, and you will see his two of his businesses. And slightly right around the corner, if you walk out of Kohl's and look straight north, you're going to be looking right at Massage Envy. Been there for 12 years. Absolutely 3 phenomenal businesses, and we can't highly recommend. It's great to have someone that's done what you've done, come here from another country, invested in our country, invested in people, invested
Learn
in...
the language.
Learn the language.
the variation of the language, the twang on the language. So very good. Talk to us about this quote that you have.
Yeah, this is a Anthony Robbins quote. Tony Robbins. Anthony's a
Similar.
bit sort of, Anthony's a bit sort of,
more of a,
the British would call him Anthony Robbins. So this is just, I think this is a good, when you refer back to what you guys were talking about last week in Google reviews, and we've all had that review as a business owner where you think, Tyler, as I think you said, it just didn't go down like that. It was it was sort of different. And you can argue that, or what we talk about as a team with my managers is, how do we deal with this? How do we make things better? And it's not just about giving something back to the client and appeasing the client, but it's actually, what have we learned and how can we change our processes? And let's just use it as a challenge, because you know, you can go through the last year and every single issue that's come up may come up again next year, or it's probably come up the year before. And if we haven't looked at it and actually probed it and worked it and thought, well, this is a real opportunity for us. How can we just get our clients to look at this and our members and actually say, hey, you guys have actually done something different here. And had a great comment yesterday around, you know, a client that was sort of referring, probably didn't know we had owned the business for 5 years, and maybe had seen a difference recently in terms of the staff that we've retained and through COVID and everything, and said, oh, things have changed here, haven't they? And they were probably referring back to the old, their previous ownership. And I think that's just things that we put into play 2-3 years ago around staff retention, loyalty and rewarding people. And, you know, with something like Massage Envy, there is always this sort of, you know, you have 1,200 locations around the country. Something happens in New York or California or another state, you might get tagged with that. So you've got to rise above that, but never distance yourself, because you're still part of that brand. So I always say, look, these are, if we don't get any of these things, I don't believe we're perfect. We've got to not search for complaints, but we've got to look for opportunities. And what that will do, if we deal with them effectively, is just increase our standard, our level. And then it's down to the competitors that you're in in bed with to actually try and raise their game as well. And guess what? As a result of that, everyone gets better.
Yeah. Amen.
Absolutely a great quote. Dealing with problems or complaints is an opportunity to raise that level, and I love this. And it's great to see that a business owner has taken that and done it here in Eastern Idaho. So thank you, FAVAD, for being here at Talkin' Business, and of course we wish you only the best in your businesses. We're going to switch right now to a training and do a little training to round out the show. Got a little bit of a glare there. Hopefully we'll be all right. So we're going to talk a little bit about Facebook events and this topic. We've had many people that have requested to have a little bit of training on this. So we put together kind of some things that are important. We all know that Facebook events, Facebook, let alone or Instagram, any of those that you use. People are on them hours and hours and hours a day. My kids, I won't throw my kids under the bus, but I can say that their average usage is 5 to 6 hours a day.
Wow.
That they're on their handsets, and so. But
glad you didn't throw them under the bus.
I did. Gracie, I love you. But Facebook events are a great way to get the word out of things that you're doing and events that you're having.
Yeah.
And so we put together kind of a quick seven things that are important to help make your Facebook events successful. So start us off, Tyler.
Well, I think one, create a catchy event name, and I think you can go like everybody else and say, hey, we're having an open house, or you can call it something else, right? And whether that's incorporating the name, hey, come in and learn how to twist and flip, right?
I wish I'd had this session last week.
Yeah. But I think we've all been maybe, I don't know, guilty, but for me, it's put some thought into the event and say, instead of saying, hey, it's flip and twist open house, it's something else, you know, and I don't have the answer to what that is, or just go with the standard.
Like
right?
I created one a couple weeks ago for our food village, Yellowstone Food Village. We called it the Food Frenzy. And people when they saw Food Frenzy, it was a catchy name that they wanted to learn more about it.
And I went just because
you did,
of that.
and we had lunch there.
And it was a frenzy.
It was. So add your location and make sure Facebook recognizes it. You have to have something that is recognized by Facebook at the address. So go ahead.
Be descriptive on the event details. So what's going on? Food Frenzy, and it was great. I had the ramen. You had barbecue. You had bowls. You had Mexican.
Moe's bowls. I had barbecue. I had a barbecue the nachos that day.
But why are people coming? Right. That's kind of what we want to get across.
So be descriptive in that. Use attention-grabbing cover image. That's a great one. Something that'll catch your attention. Make sure it's appropriate, but it's attention-grabbing. So.
Add messaging and ticket options. I think is it a paid event? Is it a free event? I think that's good to have that out there so that you're getting your intent done too. So.
Yep, and then this is a big one. Allow people to post on the event wall, and then the last one kind of ties right in with it, to not only post it, but to be able to boost it, share it, and promote the event, are a couple things that Facebook and Instagram allow you to do. And so a lot of these things, if you want to know how to really do these effectively, you got to be in the class starting October 6th. Yeah.
That's a great class. Again, Ryan Jost knows what he's doing.
He does. So. He's absolutely the best, and he's a great instructor. So, and the best part about him is that if you come to the class and you want to know it, he'll spend some time with you and look through your social media and help you and tell you kind of what's best for you. It's going to be a great class starting next month, October 6th, Wednesday, October 6th. And if you want to get registered for that, go to idahosbdc.org. And you'll see a registration link there. Or can you put that flyer back up? There you go.
There's a QR code.
There's a QR code. Take a picture of it right there. Scan your camera, and it'll lead you right to the registration link there. The class is $149, and it has over 6 hours of instruction, an hour and a half for 4 weeks. So you get over 6 hours of instruction. And Ryan is absolutely great, and we'll be doing it by Zoom. So those are out of the area and can't come to the Idaho Innovation Center, you can participate as well on Zoom. So
Yeah.
So thank you. And we've got a great little training video. This was a little, it's a little bit long, but I encourage you to watch it. It's 6 minutes, just a little over 6 minutes. But if you want to know the details of how to create Facebook events, here's a great little training video. Next week,
Here we go.
we got a phenomenal show. Nate Eaton.
Nate Eaton, there we go. Yeah.
East Idaho News. You got to watch the show next week. Nate is, he's been on every TV national show. He's been, of course, I'm sure the word Daybell will come up.
Yep.
Secret Santa is kind of...
He's done some great things in this area. So.
Wow, amazing. I was doing a lot of research on it this morning. And do you know how many views he has that's over 1 million views? Wow, it's just unbelievable. We're going to have him on the show and interview him like he interviews other.
Yeah.
In fact, one of our introduction videos probably is going to be him with Dr. Phil.
Wow.
A little intimidated to interview this guy. He was there interviewing Dr. Phil a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Wow. So tune in next week for Talking Business and watch this great training on creating Facebook events. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Need to create an event on Facebook? Let me show you the best practices to make sure your event reaches as many people as possible. Hey, welcome to 5-Minute Social Media. If you've watched our videos before, thank you. If not, I'm all about teaching you how to do the best possible social media in the least amount of time. I'm a productivity nerd and I'm happy to share this with you today. How to create a Facebook event. I'm going to go through the steps so that you don't have to go back and fix things on your Facebook event later, which would definitely suck up more of your time. So the first thing you do is go to your Facebook page and click Events, and then Create Event. And here is where we are going to create everything. On a mobile device, you just open the Pages app and go to your page, and then click Event. And you're right there in the creation screen. Now from here on out, I'm going to show you how to do it on a computer screen, but if you're doing this on your mobile device, just as easy to follow the steps. So first you're going to want to choose your photo or video if you've got one, but generally photos. And this has gotten much, much easier. It used to be that the photos would look different on mobile devices versus computers. Now they're pretty much the same. Make sure your photo is 1920 by 1080 pixel-wise. That's a 16:9 ratio. So you click here to change your photo or video. And you go through your pictures and you can pretty much choose something. So there's a picture of seafood that I just happen to have on my computer from a restaurant client. Your best bet for the photo is to just choose something that looks really nice. You don't want this to look like a nightclub flyer with words all over it. If you actually have a bunch of text, that will reduce your reach on Facebook. Then you're going to do your event name. Your event name should be short and sweet for a couple of reasons. One, so that it's easy to consume as somebody's scrolling through a feed, and two, because if it's too long, the beginning will get cut off. The third annual quarterly superstar challenge of seafood dinners and blah, blah, blah. Oh, I've already reached the character limit. So if I'm doing a seafood dinner, then I just want it to be, seafood spectacular. Then I want to include a place or an address. If you are choosing a real place, then you can actually start to type in the address and it will come right up. So I'll put in Starbucks. Here's a bunch of Starbucks. Yeah, we'll do it at the Pike Place Market Starbucks, a seafood dinner. This makes no sense. You get the idea. Next up, you choose the frequency. You've got options. Occurs once, daily, weekly, or even custom, where you can actually go through and get more specific. Then you choose the start date and time. You know how dates and times work. Next up, you want to choose the category. I have created numerous Facebook events, and sometimes there's just not a category that fits, and it's super annoying, but you have this none option if that is the case. Do choose a category, though, if you can, because, for example, for our seafood thing, we'll choose food, because it will show to the event people nearby who have expressed interest in other food-related events. The description is where you put all of the information that you want. But before you start filling it with a ton of stuff, just know that people will only see the first couple of lines unless they click see more. So you don't want to start off saying, okay guys, here's what we're doing this year and I'm super excited. That's just wasted words. We are throwing a spectacular seafood dinner that you won't want to miss. Tickets are only $8. Don't know if I want to go to the $8 seafood dinner. But put the most important info up front, and then you can come down here and you can type a ton of information of whatever you want to be in there. Keywords. This is not like keywords on WordPress blogs and YouTube videos where you can almost type in whatever you want. You have to be very specific at things that they actually have in there. So for example, I just put in seafood. Seafood is not an option. I can't save it. So you might find some things that fit there, and you might not find anything that works. There we go, dinner. I can do that. If it's kid-friendly, you can check that it's kid-friendly. This is where you add the link to your ticketing website. Just below that, this is where you can add co-hosts. So maybe I am co-hosting this, and then meanwhile, a winery, or maybe Wine Spectator is sponsoring it. So I can have them as a co-host. Now, they're going to have to approve this, but if you have other co-hosts and vendors, they can also help promote the event. So that's where you would put that. And then finally, the posting restrictions. How do you want to set this up? The most open is where anyone can post in your event. If somebody flags something or reports it to Facebook, then it has to be approved. Or anyone can post, all posts must be approved, or only hosts can post. It's nice to keep it open because sometimes your guests will post in there and invite other friends. So you decide what's best for you. I'd suggest starting with anyone can post, and then you can make it more restrictive as you go if you have any problems. And finally, do you want to or not want to display the guest list? People like to see if anyone they know is coming, so this is kind of a personal preference. You can decide which one you want. Oh, let me show you this too. If you've got sponsors or people appearing or anything like that, you can actually tag them in the description. So we could say, proud to welcome Matthew McConaughey. Yay! He's going to talk about Oldsmobiles. Is that the one he does car commercials for? I forget. Finally, you can boost the event if you're going to do that now, or you could wait. You can save it as a draft if other people want to look at it to approve it, or you can publish it right away or schedule it to be published. After your event is up, start inviting people.